speaking on legal marriages to marriage conferences on behalf of Bible Society of Uganda, of which I'm the president. And so legal marriage means they are accepted in Uganda as lawful. And once they are accepted, they cannot be sinful. So let me start with the first one, which will surprise you. Customary marriages. You can marry customarily and not go to any church, and under the law of Uganda, you are married. And under the God I know, you are not sinning, because that is the law of the land, that you can marry customarily as long as you fulfill the things. The thing about customary marriage, though, is it is potentially polygamous. And that's why it is not very popular among our circles here, because we don't want to leave room for saying I can add a second and a third. Yeah? So otherwise it's a legal marriage. And the second one is a civil marriage. You just go to Uganda Registration Services Bureau with your bride and two people, witnesses, and they marry you. It is proper in the books, law books of Uganda. It's legal. They'll give you a certificate. And again, as far as I know, the God we serve, it is not a sin. The third one, of course, is the one we are used to, which we just simplify and call church marriage. It's where you go to church and the reverend weds you, you put on whatever, mostly white and so on. That's the one we know. It is also a legal marriage, but it is one of several. Of course, we have a law for Muslims, Mohammedans marriage. It's also legal. There's a law for the Hindus, because we are a homogeneous society. We have people of different persuasions. And those are the really 5 different kinds of marriage you can marry under Ugandan law. And it's legal. You have no problem with the law, and you have no problem with God that this is you are sinning. Because marriage is a partnership between the church and the state. The state is very, very interested in marriage because it is a microcosm of society. The thing we told you about marriage, you know, because if there are no marriages, then the state begins to disintegrate. There is a problem. So the state, within a marriage, offenses can be committed, and then the state has to come in. You know, the state is the one which keeps law and order. So you cannot say that because I'm married, me and my wife, I can beat her, we can fight and injure each other, and the state, so the state, wherever you are, is interested. So if the marriage becomes violent or abusive, or then the state comes in. So the state is very, very interested. It's a partnership. And the other thing, these people in the church will not grant you a divorce, Anglican and Catholic. They will not divorce you. But the state, for us in the courts, on behalf of the state, when we see that the conditions, irretrievable breakdown of marriage, irreconcilable differences, then we realize instead of leaving these people together to cause problems, let's separate them. That's where the state disagrees with the church. In uniting people, agree, but in separating, the church is like, no. And so on. But so when I go to talk to married people, they say, but no, you as a Christian and as a judge. So I say, yeah, I am a Christian and a judge, but I've seen people kill each other in marriages. So I have to enforce the law and help, you know. It would be good if people stayed married, but it is better if people stay alive rather than killing each other.
Justice, you say that your first girlfriend was the first woman, so I used to think that my girlfriend is the most beautiful woman. But now I see so many women, I am tempted to cheat on her because I prefer beautiful women. How are you able to stay faithful up to now?
You found out the secret that your wife is the most beautiful for you at that time. And then there was a novel by a West African, The Beautiful Ones Are Not Yet Born. Anybody read this? So beautiful ones are being born every day. And for some reason, they look more beautiful at a certain age. And then beyond a certain age, you begin wondering, what is it that I saw in her? So it is human. It is human. It is human, and it is part of the male species. But again, we talked about trust, and in marriage you make vows, and God is a promise-keeping God.
Yes.
He makes covenants with us, and He expects when we make covenants that we'll keep them. And for God, I told you the state is very interested in marriage. If the state is interested in marriage, God is super interested in marriage, because it is modeling the relationship between us and Him. So faithfulness is very, very important. I agree with you, there are beautiful girls, beautiful women all over. I've been abroad, I've seen the Asian ones, the Azungu and Hispanic, But one of the things that defines manhood, the maleness against manhood, some people talk on this, is as a man, you must stand, make a decision to be faithful.
Yes.
And to be a father, you see what marrying another woman did to him, and he's lucky he came out of it. But this thing that happens, it causes so much pain to different people, because no person is an island. So the beautiful ones are there, but that's why we get married. The Bible says it's better to get married than burn. In fact, you have to just make a decision and say, I'm getting married to this one. Otherwise, you will stay in the market and say, in fact, for us when we were at university, there's a thing that really spoke to me. There was this young man praying and saying, God, I thank you for Becky, but Lord, Alice is also there. And then there's Mary. But my God, Elizabeth. So I realized, okay, this is not happening only to me. It is our lot, it's our portion as men. But the true measure of manhood is that you decide this is the one. And you know what I can tell you? Having been married 34 years in December, the looks are very good, they attract, and they attract for us men to, because a friend told me that if it wasn't for sex, I would not marry. Women are difficult people and so on. So God knew, and He makes them very beautiful. Then you are attracted. But the thing that will keep you going with a girl, okay, several things. Of course, now you're starting me off on marriage. I'm also a marriage counselor and so on. So they say, marry the girl who loves you. Don't marry the girl you love. Don't marry the girl you love, marry the girl. Yeah, this is important. Don't marry the girl you love. It may be just a saying, but marry the girl who loves you. You see the difference? Because when the beauty has faded and so on, what I have found in my case, the lasting thing is that I'm able to talk to my wife and we discuss, and we still find interacting with each other exciting. Beyond the beauty, she's now 60, something like me. She's still very beautiful, by the way. But the thing that keeps me wanting to travel with her and so on is we can engage, we can discuss, we can talk about things, we can laugh together, we are friends. So beauty will attract you, and it should, but you need to look beyond. What do you have in common with this person? Are you really friends? Can you discuss issues and so on? That is why it becomes difficult for you to marry somebody who is less intellectually sound, because after some time, it becomes, you cannot relate intellectually. You are coming from work and you are talking about, the economy and inflation, and so on. So, that's why you find people, they will leave that one in the village and come and look for, because after the initial excitement, then you realize you don't have much in common. So what has kept me going is my wife is my friend. In fact, my wife tells me she knows the kind of girls I fall for. She has them profiled by looks and by temperament. So she will say, okay, now be careful. That one is likely to sweep you off your feet. So we have these honest conversations. But she knows I have many friends who are girls. I have many. Because again, a friend of mine asked me, but it's because the girls know, in a way I'm harmless to them. You know what I mean? I'm like their brother and their uncle. I will not go in the room and ask them that and so on. So because of that, I have so many friends who are girls, and now my wife knows I never let my guard go because I know I'm still human, but relate with these people like brothers and sisters, and the thing about fearing, okay, and Christ helps you overcome. I feared girls like nobody's business. I feared girls, and as Bazukufu, boys will sit this way, girls this way. But eventually the Lord liberated me. I realized these are not sex objects, these are actually very, very interesting people you can carry on conversations with. And once you go beyond the sex thing, and you will carry on very, very meaningful conversations, and they will feel free around you and that kind of thing. So, and then the other thing is, of course, this has exposed me also. I preach a lot, I speak at marriage conferences. So sometimes I go to a place and while I'm still there, say, oh, we saw you speaking to us about marriage and so on. And so even if the devil was to plant a seed in my mind, I've already been disarmed. The Lord has